I went from running away from my struggles to being able to run through my struggles and work through them. Running is a source, it's not the resource. The resource is therapy. The resource is talking to someone. The resource is doing the work. Running is not doing the work necessarily. So again, running is a source, not the resource. So those folks who are currently going through something right now, know that you're not alone, right? You have people in your corner that's rooting for you, right? But do not just lean strictly on that. I'm a Christian, also lean on prayer, I leaned on God, right? Lean on your community. And remember, again, running is a source, it's not the resource.
Welcome to the Safe Space Running Podcast. We're here to encourage, enable, and empower. I have a truly the pleasure to speak with today, Shannon. Shannon, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well.
Good. I know that I felt like I was stalking you almost when we was down at Peachtree because we kept running into each other. I promise that was not intentional, but you've been on my radar for quite some time. I've watched from afar what you guys have done down there in Atlanta with Adidas Runners. But before I go into that and the core of our conversation, I want to ask you, what do you have planned on your race or fitness schedule? What do you got lined up for this year?
Well, to close out the year in September, I'm doing Berlin, and then we'll wrap it up. Yes, because it'll be the third marathon this year, so we'll be
Third?
Third, yes, I did Publix marathon here in Atlanta at the beginning of the year. Then did Boston. Now I'm Berlin.
Oof, you got three. I got New York this year. I did Sydney last year. I got it again this year, but I like the two marathon for me personally. I think I like doing them pretty close. That way I don't have to reset my training going into the next block. What did you think though of the Publix marathon? You said that was based in ATL, right? How was that for you?
Yeah, no, so that one's cool. So anyone who's from Atlanta or runs in Atlanta know Atlanta's a very hilly uh, city. Just to give context, people talk about how Boston is hilly and Heartbreak Hill and all that. The elevation for the Publix marathon was double the elevation Publix when you're thinking like the hills and the incline that you're running. So yeah,
I found that out the hard way. I did the race last year, which I'm going back to do. That might have been legit the toughest race I've ever done. And I think it had almost, if not the same, a little less elevation than Sydney did. And Sydney, I didn't think was super hilly, but it had enough to be like, oh, this is different. But the race, that put me out. That was that was tough. But when I finished it, I felt like I earned it. I will say that it felt like such a good victory lap once I crossed the line, and then I got to dance with my people. So you can never go wrong with that.
nice.
So, just to go into the context of the conversation again, for those who are listening or aware, Shannon is based in Atlanta. He is the captain of Adidas Runners based in Atlanta. He does everything in between. He is also the founder of the Soul Project, which is a nonprofit organization down there. So, he's been involved in a lot of things and clearly a pillar in the running community down in Atlanta. So, Shannon, my first question to you is, you are involved in so many different aspects of the running community down there. And of course, you've got reach beyond Atlanta. Let me not just limit you there. You've got reach all over. My question to you is, why become so involved into the running culture? I know you always have, most of us have our own personal journeys that we go through in running, but you've ingrained yourself so deep into this. What was your motivation behind that?
So for me, and that's the thing that stifles people from growing and getting to where they really wanted to be, it being a motivation behind something.
Mm.
For me, there was no motivation behind it. It was just Shannon being Shannon. Me just going out, just naturally being me, and everything that's have come over the years has just been a blessing of just me being who I am and just having that impact on others and the community as a whole. When I think of my run story, I say what I do in running is my way of giving back the way running gave to me. So I first got into distance running in 2012. I'm sorry, 2012, while living in Fort Lauderdale. I'm naturally a sprinter. Never thought I would ever be wanting to do 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathons, marathons, etc. So got involved in that in Florida, invited to a 5K. And I'm like, oh, this running thing is pretty cool. And I'm finishing at the top of like a lot of races I'm doing. And in the midst of me finding that journey within like distance running, I found myself in a battle with like depression and anxiety. And I
Mm.
used running as a means to, work through it in a sense. But quickly I found that it wasn't the work through that I thought it would be. Um, and running for me became a sense of me running away from my issues of what I was going through. And I remember one time I got sick, I was with all the stress and everything going through, I was in the ER. And the doctor said to me, he says, I'm going to put it to you like this. What you're doing is equivalent to a car running on fumes with no gas. You're just running. So you're naturally hurting your body because you're just running and not feeling it because I wasn't really eating, wasn't really sleeping, and things like that. So he like the things got to change. So he put me on some medicine. And maybe within that week, I'm like, I'm not doing this. I didn't like the way the medicine made me feel. And I just didn't want to be dependent on medication. So I'm like, you know what? I want to change it. Like, I want to take control of this. So um, that's what I did. And one of the first things I did in taking control of it was like actually opening up to someone. So I had a coworker of mine who I was very close with, had a conversation about struggles which they were aware of. So that was the first channel in me working through it. The second thing was with Doctor. He said, "You're just," because a big portion of it was like job. It was just not a healthy place where I was at anymore. So I ended up being blessed with another opportunity that brought me to Atlanta, um, and I just start running, and I found Movers and Pacers. Was the very first group that I connected with here in Atlanta. Found that community and just start running, and then naturally just got involved with community stuff. So it my actual community work in a sense here through the running space started in 2020 when all these civil unrest was taking place around everything that was going on. So I decided, like, you know what, I want to do something, but I don't want to do what everyone else is doing. Everyone else is doing this protest. Everyone else is doing this. I was like, I want to do something different. I'm like what that difference? I'm like, I'm going to put on a run that brings us all together. So no matter what side of the aisle you on, no matter what you believe, whatever, it's us coming together in the midst of this crazy time in the country. Let's come together. So I planned a run, and I reached out to one of my buddies in the running community. I'm like, hey, got this idea. You trying to collab and make something happen? He's like, let's do it. So I put together, we called it the Run for Justice and Equality. Met up.
Mm.
We weren't expecting much from it, but it was just a space to bring people together. We got there, and it's just like loads of people are just coming, and we're like, whoa. I remember Target that was by the location where we ran it. Manager came out and said, "Hey, so we saw this on social media. We want to help out." So they brought out like waters and like little energy bars. So that was cool. The local news station was there, so we're like, "Oh, this is pretty cool." And what was dope about it is it wasn't just a run. We spent the time having an intentional conversation after the run about it. And from there, my friend was like, "Shannon, it look like you got something going on. You got to keep this going. You got to do it." I'm like, "Yeah, but I don't want to just keep it going just to keep it going and just do something because we got all these people out. If I'm going to do it, I have to do it with purpose." So from there, playing other things, I did a Juneteenth run during that year, and that was a way to really educate the community on Juneteenth and the history behind it. Um, I did stuff with one of our local LGBT run organizations in the city. I did an event, through yoga and mindset and running all together, and just end up just taking that joy of community, and I ended up calling it social fitness. So there's something during that time I called it social fitness. This is a way of through movement connecting with the community and bringing people out during that crazy time. Now this wasn't something like I'm trying to build this. It's going to be something. It was something for the moment and something that I'm good at recognizing is everything is not meant to be forever. Some things are for the moment. Some things is to be that light in that moment. And in those moments, social fitness was that light in the moment to bring people out, to get people moving. And from there, a lot of doors just start opening. And people ask me, how did you get to where you are right now? I said, just being me. Like I don't have any like agenda. Like you do this, you do this. It's just be you. Like when it comes to social media, I'm no content creator. Like when I post because it's just something I want to post. I'm not planning out nothing. I'm not doing that. Like if I don't want to post, I'm not posting. Um, so that's what it is when it comes to like my journey of community. Where, as I mentioned to you in the beginning, there was no motivation behind it. It was just me being me and letting the Lord do the rest.
I like that. There's two things that you said that really that resonated. There's the first one being that you use running as a form of escape to get, to move away from the current issues that you were having at that time. And that I've heard that from others, especially from a couple other black runners who've used running as their means to escape, but then it got them to a much better place. And it's encouraging to hear because I know running has given us all something else. And I want to go take that, another part that you mentioned of just you being you. I do believe that people with a heart of servitude always have a natural ability to create impact. And that takes me to my next question for you is, again, you've made a lot of moves, you've made a lot of opportunities for others. What do you see as your biggest impact thus far? And not to rate one above the other, but what's a good way to phrase this is what's one of the things of all your work that you've done with the community and the run community, walk community, fitness that has the most impact on you, personally speaking?
Yeah, no problem. So before I answer that question, I just want to go back to the statement
Sure.
around regarding running being a way to run through myself and run away.
Yeah.
Me, what I want to make it clear to everyone listening is it became a negative thing. So
Hmm.
I was running away from it and not dealing with. Okay.
Ah.
And when I found once I got to Atlanta and became part of the community, I went from running away from my struggles to being able to run through my struggles and work through them. Okay. And something I want everyone to remember that's listening and watching this right now is running is a source, it's not the resource. The resource is therapy. The resource is talking to someone. The resource is doing the work. Running is not doing the work necessarily. So again, running is a source,
Hmm.
not the resource. Okay, um, because like I ran myself down. I was sick. It just wasn't a healthy space. So those folks who are currently going through something right now, know that you're not alone. Right? You have people in your corner that's rooting for you. Right? But do not just lean strictly on that. I'm a Christian. Also lean on prayer. I leaned on God. Right? Lean on your community. And remember, again, running is a source. It's not the resource. Now, when I think of my impact and a lot of things I've done, it's hard to just choose one. But for me, I'll talk about a couple. First one being the Soul Project. So the Soul Project is a nonprofit I founded with the goal of inspiring hope and contributing to the well-being of those less fortunate. As a runner, we have shoes. We just collect shoes, and at the time, I'm like, I don't want to just throw away all my shoes, right? I want to do something, and I always had this idea of doing something. And I remember, never forget one night the name Soul Project came to my mind. So Soul Project, I'm like, okay, cool. And this was around February 2020. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to work that. Pandemic happens, right? Pandemic happens. Um, I'm furloughed in March into April. June, I'm officially let go. So it was just like wow, like okay, well this is a lot. I need to figure out what's going on. And during that time of being laid off is when I had the opportunity to do stuff with the social. So I'm sorry, with social fitness. And again, things that wasn't planned, it just came natural for me. And what I was finding in doing that, it allowed me to get away from the frustrations of being out of work. It allowed me to really put that energy into something positive into the community. Again, going back to not being a motivation, just me finding something and going back to the Lord praying. Like he's like, you know what? I got you. So I'm going to put you in this place where you can still make an impact while I work you through this storm. So for me, I looked at it as while I'm going through the storm, how can I still be a blessing to others? Right. And when I think back to the Soul Project, it was November, and a friend of mine, I was just talking to him, and I'm just so frustrated. This and that, blah blah. I got no job. Like I'm getting tired, right? Like I'm getting weary. Like I'm feeling all those feels. And they said, well, won't you go ahead and really do your Soul Project thing now? I'm like, well, how am I just going to do that now? They're like, do like a holiday drive. I'm like, that would actually make sense, right? So I'm like, It was just like, be a good way to get back. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. At that time, I had also had made the hard decision to sell like just about everything I had and relocate back to Philadelphia with my family because I said, I'm out of work. My rent is not cheap, so I'll spend all this money in rent. So for me, the very first year of the Soul Project, very few people knew that while I was selling off my things, my bed, my furniture, I was still doing this drive, right? And I remember I would come into my apartment because that time I sold my couch and my bed already. So where I was sleeping at, I had my little setup right there and had my bags as I was packing up, and I had the shoes in the other area. So for me, it's like, yes, I'm at a hard time right now where I have to, sell, my things and move out my apartment. But there's folks that's going through more than me. I'm fortunate to have my family where I was able to go to. There's folks that did not. So for me, in that moment, the more focus was on, man, Shannon, this is so sad for you. Blah blah blah. It's what can I do to make that lasting impact in my community? Because in my mind, I didn't know if I was going to come back to Atlanta. But in doing this, it was my last thing to be able to still continue to make that impact for me. And that following year, the Lord was just working, and I ended up coming back to Atlanta and got a job. And I remember going into the holiday, people hitting me up like, "Hey, you doing your shoe drive again?" I'm like, "Huh?" I'm like, "That was something I want to do." They like, "No, it's a thing." So I end up doing it, and 5 years later now, I'm a recognized 501c3 nonprofit organization. Have thank you. Have benefited so many individuals in needs here in Atlanta. Have collected well over 3,000 pairs of shoes, um, countless clothing and items that families can use. Put together hygiene kits. And what's special about the Soul Project is that everything that I collect benefits the direct community. It does not leave Atlanta or the surrounding community. So when people donate, I let them know you're impacting our community, and it's not just going somewhere. And that's what's special to me about the Soul Project. Now, over the past year, I've I'm not going to say step down away from it, but I really slowed down a little bit because it grew fast. um, it grew really fast, and I still have a full time job, still have other commitments. And I'm like, this is just a lot to handle for one person. So while I still do it, I don't do it at the level that I've done it the past few years because again, it was just a lot on me. So I'm still making my impact, but in a way where it's more intimate for me. But yeah, so that's that. Um, but yeah, like what's cool too in a running space is when you hear people like you motivate me. Like I see what you're doing, and I'm like, oh, I appreciate it. Like me, I'm like, oh, cool. Because like me, I'm not doing it for anything. I'm doing it just for the love of it, and through my natural love of it, you see things happening. One of my stories that I did, or not, I don't want to say stories, results of work that I'm most proud of comes with Adidas Runners. Uh, when Adidas gave me the opportunity to lead this community, for me, what was important was really creating a community where everyone felt a part, everyone felt they had a place. While like I consider myself like a performance runner myself, there's not enough spaces for people to just come and move and be without feeling like they're going to get left behind on the race or on the run without feeling that they have to chase somebody. I just wanted to create a space where it's just a dope space where you just come and vibe and there's no pressure. So when I create, and creating this space, I'm like, man, this is how I want it to be. I want to make sure everyone feel welcome. I want to do this. And I remember my first run. There was a young lady. She came out to the run, and while we were out running, she was more in the back, and I'm back there walking with her, jogging with her, and we just making our way through. And she's like, "Oh no, you don't have to wait for me." I'm like, "No, like this is me. This is what I want to do." So she was just happy with it. And then as she was coming through the race, we clapped her in and just created that good energy. And that next day, she created a reel to talk about her experience, and she talked about how being a plus size woman, she never thought to see herself going to a run club for reasons of not want to be left, not things that some runners folks may feel. But she said this was a space that I felt welcome. She said, the captain, he actually stopped and walked with me and jogged with me. And from there, she just continued to come back and come back and was actively involved. I was able to then bring her on the team as one of the crew runners. Reached out to like my heads. I said, "This is someone who's been there since day one. She's a day one. I would love to bring her on." So brought her on to the team of this is considered like a crew runner. So you had the captain and your crew runner. So I was able to bring her on as a crew runner, and with about a month of her being on like as a crew runner, Diaz reached out to fly her out to Spain to be a part of a campaign. Right. So
Wow.
it was just like seeing this because for me it's just like really seeing people, right? And she had that opportunity. And what was dope about it because when you see a lot of these sports ads, you don't see many, if any, plus size
Hmm.
athletes, let alone plus size black women athletes. Right. So to be featured on that, that was just like the world to me. Like I'm like, this is why I do what I do, right? To create community, create a space where people feel seen, where people feel valued, right? And that's what it was all about. And that meant like everything. So when I found out that she was going, like you would have thought like I won a lottery or something. I was overjoyed, right? Um, and then as the community continued to grow, it's just like, wow, like people I won't say buying into, but they see my vision and they want to be a part of what it is that I'm doing. And that young lady that I was talking about, since that since then, she's created a whole brand for herself. So someone
Mm.
who went from I just gonna run and move on my own to stepping out of her comfort zone, coming to like Adidas running space, feeling welcome and seeing this is a space where wow, I feel a part. I don't feel like excluded and getting the further confidence built up to create their own space where she's now known globally.
Mm.
She has a brand where she's known globally. She's doing great things for women in a running space, and every time I see the work that she's doing, I'm just like smiling from ear to ear because I remember the person I met in the conversation I had and where she's at now, and it's just like man. And for me, that makes me feel good because I like to create spaces where I can highlight other folks, right? So for me, I always say it's good to have things, but it's no fun if you can't share it with others. So every time I'm getting opportunities, how can I help build others up? How can I help put them in a place to win, right? Um, I'm the type of person that when you do right by me and I see, good, your name is going to be mentioned in rooms that you don't even have to be in. Because that's how I work. So when I'm in these different spaces, there's names I'm making sure that is being heard with them not even being in the room because there's someone that did it for me,
Mm.
right? And it just you just and it's just a matter of moving. So even with me, when I think back to my initial first big brand with Lululemon, there was a gentleman in the running space who worked for Lululemon who saw what I was doing and said, "Hey, we have this person in Atlanta who I see doing this thing." And so on. So it's kind of like we need to build each other up, right? We see someone doing something. Let's how can we connect to each other? How can we generally build that community? For me, I'm all about community. With our Adidas runners, every race when we have new folks come in, I say there's three things I want you to feel here at Adidas runners. I want you to feel seen. I want you to feel valued. And I want you to feel empowered. I want you to feel seen because we see you. You're not just a number in this crowd. I see you, right? I want you to feel valued because I value the time you took out of your evening, out of your day, out of your morning to come run with us here at Adidas Runners. And I want you to feel empowered to continue to show up for yourself each and every day and create that healthy lifestyle, right? And with Adidas Runners, I tell them, while we are a run club, I don't focus on the word run. We focus on the word movement. So movement in the way that works best for you, whether you want to run, whether you want to jog, right? I even presented to them from the mental health aspect of it. Come move your mind with us, right? Your day you just didn't have the best day, or you just frustrated. Come with us and move your mind away from that frustration. So you just come and sit and chill, and after runs, we're gonna come back and vibe with you. So it's a matter of just movement in a way that works best for you, even in the language that I use in creating that inclusive, welcoming space, when it comes to the miles that we run, like how far do your group run? For me, I never say we run 4 miles. I say our routes are up to 4 miles, built in a way that it's inclusive and empowering to make you want to. Okay, I'm gonna do a mile and a half today. Then or the next week I want to come and do 2 miles. Then I want to do this and I want to do it. It's built in a way to create that space where it's just like it's not intimidating,
Mhm.
welcoming, and it's not like, oh, it's 4 miles. And people hear that, well, again, no, I'm not going to that run club. But when they hear it's up to, and it's to create the space for whether you want to walk, jog, whatever you want to do, this is the space to do it. And I even tell some of my buddies who are performance runners, I say, hey, fellas, this is not that space. So if you come to us on Tuesdays, it's more of a chill space, community space to just come run and vibe. I say, look at it as a recovery run or a cool down run. But that's the space I you know, created along with my team and want to maintain.
I love that you mentioned, I guess, I love that when we're talking about the thing of impact and such too. I am a big fan personally of always paying it forward, investing into your community, investing into others. And I love when communities and run communities look out for everybody in the crowd. I love the fact that you stayed behind and walked with her and you planted a seed that I'm sure at the time, based on, again, we're still, I'm still, like I said, I had the pleasure of meeting you, but as I hear more about you, I feel like, there's so many parallels between how we move in groups and our character, especially because I'm a Christian as well, and how we move to protect each other, and how we move to really, support one another. And it means a lot when people stay behind. It means a lot when you go across that, whether it be the finish line at a race or you're the last person getting to the rest of the crowd. It means so much when you're with that person and you make them feel like they belong. And that's the one thing that I love to see when I go visit other clubs. And when I'm at clubs, that's one thing I look out for is who is the person that, that who is new, who feels like they're most intimidated. And you find that person to make sure that they feel included.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, again, that heart, the servant's heart.
Yeah.
And it makes me so happy to hear that she's now gone into the industry and she's now making a name for herself because you planted that seed in her simply by just being you and simply just having the desire to make her feel included and welcomed. And I see, it's so great to see that. I'm sure you've seen other clubs who don't really keep that in mind, and
Right.
it's discouraging to see that when they get so set into
Yeah.
their run or their culture to
Yeah.
where they forget that there are new people who want to get involved in the sport. And yet, if we're so stuck into our own ways, we can miss them and we can stifle somebody's growth in this sport. So, and
Now, and
yeah, go for it.
yeah, not to cut you off, because for me, I have what some may consider a controversial opinion.
Hmm.
Um, but for me, and I share this with my run club, I'm all about community. I'm all about inclusion. I'm all about making sure everyone feels a part, making sure people feel together. And run club that does not do that does not make them not inclusive.
Yeah,
Okay, that makes them. That's what they built, and you have to respect what they built. So when you're going to running spaces, if you go to that running space and it doesn't align with you, rather than trashing that organization, this and that, find a space that belongs to you because that space was built based upon what works best for them. So when their founder was building what they're doing, they had in mind, I want to create this space where we're building fast runners, where we're building this, or we're building this. If you can't keep up, this may not be the space for you. Now, while others may not agree with it, that's your God given right. But it doesn't take away from what that organization is doing because that's them. Like I said, I enjoy what I enjoy. They enjoy what they enjoy. Because there's some folks who may come to my space and realize, like, yeah, nah, this is not for me. And I
yeah,
respect that.
yeah,
And it's the same one. But it's like, one, like I definitely agree with what you're saying, but I also make sure people know that you cannot be mad that someone's space doesn't align with you. Go
yeah.
find a space that you feel had that alignment. But I do agree that, being conscious of those new folks, right? And being transparent with them
That is
about
the
what
key.
you want to do. Being transparent and stop saying we are pace friendly when you're not.
That,
Like
that.
run leaders, if you're listening, if you're not pace friendly, don't say it. It's
Hmm.
not you're not doing anything wrong by not saying it. That's your run club. That's your space, right? That's what you built. You have your audience who enjoys that, right? Don't say we're pace friendly. People get out there thinking you pace friendly, and they feel like they left for dead, and they lost, or they start for a little bit, end up just saying like, you know what, I'm going home. So again,
Hmm.
if those listening, find a space that connects best with you, rather than just wanting to jump on a trend, or because this run club seems cool, or because they have attractive people in it, or because this. Find a space that works best for you, and finding a space that works best for you doesn't mean create a space, right? Now,
You going? I see where you're going with this. I'm here for it.
right. So if there's a need for that space, go for it. Connect it, build it up. But what's happening right now in this run space, everybody wants to create a space, right? But they're not creating a space with the right mind, with the right mindset. Is I want to create this, I want to create this dope thing, I want to have these a lot of people. That's cool, right? But when it's not cool anymore, what are you going to do, right? You're creating these spaces, and you're losing community. And then in some
Hmm.
spaces, in some cities, is not as big. So you're spreading your folks thin because you're so focused on I want to create a space. I want to create a space. Yes, if you see an immediate need, but every space does not. You don't have to create a running space for every like. Oh, I think that we're gonna create this run club. Okay, cool. I saw a post that a homegirl mine's posted. You and your friends can go for runs without having to create a run club.
I know who it was, and I'm with it. I totally
That,
agree
that,
with it.
that's my homegirl.
I know who you're talking about. So that's my people's. But yeah,
Yeah,
you.
so it's like one of the things where just have fun in the space. Because here's me. So here in Atlanta, you've been here. You see how thriving Atlanta is as a run space. It hurts my heart a little bit to see organizations doing dope stuff but not getting the support because people are spread thin. People are not supporting because they don't want to support. They're not supporting because people are spread thin. There's 50 million, and I'm exaggerating, but there's so many run clubs in this small bucket of Atlanta that you're spreading yourself thin. So rather than think about just want to jump on connecting groups, connect with others, bringing ideas. But if you feel you really want to connect that space, connect the space. But then also don't be upset if people are not supporting your space. Because some folks can see through it, right?
Yeah,
And success team folks, success is not in how many people come to your runs. Success is the impact that that people have on your runs. Because
yes.
me, while I'm fortunate, with being with Adidas, that we're fortunate to be able to give away shoes, race entries, a whole lot of perks, right? What's more important to me is that people have takeaways when they come to our runs that's not physical. It's I've connected with this person. I learned this. I got this resource. So what takeaway can they get from your space that's not of a physical, actual thing?
Hmm. I lean it towards, I call it the experience. What is the experience that you're trying to create, and how can people remember it? And to even go back to that point, the one thing, because again, Safe Space here, we're based in Columbus. We're not, the one thing when we started creating this was it wasn't to be a new run club because we have a lot of great run clubs. And it was more so how do we connect those resources and give people access to make sure everyone has equity in the space. But my thing, especially with run clubs, I know a couple, it seems to be the hot topic right now. Um, I do believe that transparency is key. Is whatever your group is, that's okay. We people shouldn't have to if you, as you mentioned before, and I've had this talk with different groups here. Like if you want just fast people, if you want your elites, you want just walkers, you want just women, that's fine. Be transparent about that and set expectations. And if you do see new runners come in, set those expectations with them. I've seen cases, and the cases I can think of where people were left behind was those expectations weren't set. The route
Yeah.
wasn't given to them. They didn't know where to go at that point. And now that person has no idea what's going on. But I think it's so important when people are creating brand new clubs is to set the expectation and make people aware of what your vision is. And if
Yep.
they then can make a decision on if this is good, to your point, if this is a good fit for me or not. But it's hard for people to expect you to. It's hard to have everyone like every club because everyone's different. Everyone reaches a different audience, and I personally don't have an issue with new clubs starting. I think it's a great thing where everyone has a different reach. You can reach somebody that I can't reach. I can reach people that you can't. I love that beauty about what this sport does. But I think it's really important for us to really set that expectation of what that vision is for that community. And again, not everyone has to start a club. I think there are
Yeah.
so many resources to where we can support and enable other clubs and other organizations that could really use that, because there is a strength in numbers.
Yep.
But
No, without a doubt. And then something else that's really um, have an effect on the running community where people want to create these spaces because everybody wants these brand sponsorships. They want this brand recognition. They want this, want that. And it's just they're like, it's bigger than that, right? And I tell folks who have some more establishment in running spaces and brands are reaching out to them, I said, date the brand, do not marry the brand, right?
mm-hmm,
Because once you get in that marriage with the brand, your vision may not be what you see
they may not
because
line up.
with brand expectations, right? So rather than I want to do this, just like be true to you, and the right opportunity will come. Stop jumping at every opportunity that comes. Like even with me being captain of Adidas Runners, we get little requests from different spaces here in the city, and I'm like, I look at it like, okay, no, because I read through it with some of the with brands with companies. Like I had a one company reach out, yeah, we want to host you there, okay. We can give you a discount and this and that. I said, well, what about this? Oh no, we won't be able to do that. Okay, well, I don't think
Mm,
it'll work because I'm bringing people to you, but you can't do anything for us. Because my thing is always, how can what is the benefit to my community, right? Like what has been the benefit? Um, and that's the thing that people miss. They always want to jump on brands. And I had a conversation with a brother who came to me during a Peachtree Grove race. Um, Looking to get involved with brands and ask for some advice and different things. And I told him, I said, the first thing when it comes to brands and people, wanting to work for them, a lot of people want to see who are you beyond running. There's 50 million run clubs, so I can close my eyes and pick one. But why do I want to pick you? And that's what people are missing. What makes you you? What makes you special? Make me say, you know what? You are an organization I want to work with. Okay, you bring 50 million people to the runs, great. But what's special about you that aligns with
mm-hmm.
our and people are missing it. Because I want to create this dope. I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to get their attention. They're tagging every 50 million brand. But again, what makes you you? So for me, when it comes to adding people to my team, for me, I'm looking for someone who's more than a runner.
Mm.
Like who are you outside of running? Let's say you hurt yourself today, you can't run. Who are you? What impact do you have? Because a lot of people are fast. A lot of people enjoy wearing Adidas. A lot of people are good with talking to people, but what makes you different? What makes you stand out? And that's what I look for when I'm looking at adding people to my team. And then also, what's important when I come to my team is really making sure I do my best to create a team where, while you can't please everyone, but in a sense, everyone sees himself in somebody on the team.
Mm-hmm.
It's not one set look. It's I see it's like on my team right now. I have a black woman, right? I have a white woman, and I have an Indian gentleman. But within that space, right? The white woman I have on the team, she identifies as a gay woman. I had a gentleman on the team before, identified as a gay man. I had the young lady I talked about, plus size woman. So it's being intentional and bringing people into space who are doing things in space and also represents different communities. So it's being intentional, not just hooking up the homies, but being intentional and building a space that's truly reflect what I say I want it to be.
That's perfect. That's what I think it's. People who listen before know how important I feel about representation matters, and being intentional with that representation in any space that you're in, and making sure that when people look at your club, people look at what you've created, the community. The key thing is, do they see themselves in that community? And to your point earlier, and every club, every org may not be a good fit for you, but if that's the mission that you're going for, that's a-okay. I think that's okay for people to have different visions and different clubs, and that's we have different restaurants for that reason, as a good
Yeah.
example. So I think it's a beautiful thing when done right, and we all at the end of the day really support each other. And with that said, Those again who listen knows what's coming next. I want to make sure that we always give our flowers to those who are here on this call. And of course, I've been watching from afar from what you've done and the work that you've been putting in. And even speaking with you more and more today and just learning so much more about what you do, more of your backstory. I had a feeling when I met you, like this guy's kind of dope. And now I know more that, yeah, my feeling was right. So I am big on people's choices. And you said that you did things to get you went through. I love that you brought up the mental awareness in terms of making sure that running is not the true source. I'm big on making sure people go through therapy, and that's people need to hear that. And you being a vessel to share that is important. You being a vessel to give back to the community through the Soul Project is important. You giving back to making sure representation matters in Adidas Runners, that's a big deal. And I think that we need to make sure that we honor ours who are in this space making big deal. Again, to you, this is just you being you. But to rest of us watching, you are inspiration, you are motivation, you are truly, and that's why I led with that first question, because a lot of us, including myself, look to you and look to what you do and see inspiration. We see that fire that you have, that motivation that you have to really help others, and that's what we can use as our inspiration to continue what we do. So all things said and done, I appreciate you for what you do. And I know Atlanta as a whole and even all around the country, because again, you're bigger than just the state. We know this, but we appreciate all the sacrifice and the time and the effort, because doing all that you do ain't easy. And you work full time, trust me, I get it. I mean, I get it. But you made a conscious choice, and it may not feel like a choice because you're naturally a good person, but there's still a choice involved. And you made a choice to invest into us. So I have to make sure that I thank you for your time. I thank you for what you do. And I thank you for truly being an inspiration to all of us. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Of course, of course. And for those again who are listening, again, follow Adidas Runners online. Follow Shannon. He's online. All the links will be in the bio. But again, I can't thank you enough for sure. And I'm sure we'll be in touch sooner than later, because, Atlanta's like my wife and I's second home at this point. We come down for a lot of the different races. But again, I appreciate your impact and I'm inspired by what you do.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Thank you. And I just encourage like everyone listening who's runners, like, it's bigger than us, right? Running is bigger than us, right? How can we, really include others in the space and make people feel welcome, right? It's
Hmm.
all about creating that healthy lifestyle. And for me, what I love most about this running boom is that it's getting our people out moving. So every time I'm looking out and I'm seeing like our people, I'm like, yes, this is what I'm talking about, right? Finding a healthy outlet to move. So within your running space, what I encourage you to do is think, how can I impact others or be a positive light to others through my running, right? Because you never know, someone is watching you right now and you're encouraging someone. They may not be actually in your running space. You're encouraging someone to get off the couch right now and go to the gym. You're encouraging someone right now to, do what they said they were going to do because they remember you always saying that you wanted to get into running and now you got into running and you're thriving. So you may not see the impact that you're making, but you're making an impact. So keep going, keep doing it, and know that what you do, who you are, truly matters. And for me, I just also want to give a big shout out to the Kyle Peace Foundation. So, Kyle Peace Foundation is a organization I volunteer here in Atlanta, where I have the opportunity to participate in races with athletes with disabilities. And even at PC Row Race, I pushed an athlete in a chair. So, if you have organizations like that in your city where you're living, please get involved. If you're here in Atlanta, go to the Kyle Peace website, click on events, you'll see the list of all the races. Find a race that you feel like you want to do, click on it, sign up. Guess what? It's no cost to you, right?
Hmm.
Only thing that will be required in the beginning will be a background check. Then from there, you can do the races. And just imagine for that moment, the experience that you're giving that athlete that does not have the ability that you have every day to get up and go for a run. So that's why for me, it's important that I shout out the Kyle Peace Foundation, encourage people in Atlanta to get involved with the Kyle Peace Foundation, and encourage people outside of the city to find organizations in your city that provide those adaptive sports opportunities for athletes with disabilities and provide that inclusive experience for them.
I couldn't have said it better. And for those again who are based in, like I'm based in Columbus, Ohio, to piggyback off of that, ours here is called Team Heart and Soul. They do something very similar to that too. So let that be our call to action. Shannon said it here, so we got to do it. I mean, if you're here, I don't want to hear no excuses because Shannon made it happen. But yeah, Heart and Soul is a very good organization that does something similar. Again, if you're based in Atlanta, follow through with his organization as well because it's bigger than us. I think that's definitely the thing to remember after all of this. So. Shannon, again, we'll be in touch, I'm sure, but thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.